The federal government has attributed the inadequate community support as one of the major challenges confronting the completion of infrastructural projects across the country. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, made this observation at a briefing with journalists after the weekly cabinet meeting in Abuja, which was presided by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Ayobami Pashe has details in this report.
The Buhari administration began in 2015 with a policy thrust to complete most of the abandoned projects before embarking on new ones. Since then, each weekly cabinet meeting has seen approvals of memoranda for cost revision and estimate for the completion of infrastructure projects.
In addition to that, we have increased the budget size. So the budget size for all of Nigeria's roads in 2015 was 18 billion. That was all, for all of Nigeria's roads. So those accumulations that we now have to manage and overcome was as a result of under-budgeting and under-funding. Now there's a distinction. We have increased the budget now to roughly about 300 billion, but we still can't fund the 300 billion. So to the question, we come and talk about approvals here. Yes, I come and approve because it's in the budget and we must implement the budget. So when we get the approvals, that's only one half of the story. The other half of the story is that we don't get all of the cash. So your investigation must also go to how much is being released against how much is approved in the budget. And that's what gives you the real picture. But there is yet another problem. The local communities. We're having problems there too. We had problems, I think, in Saple Ewu Road, youth communities, compensation issues. Immediately we moved to site. People build all sorts of things within a right of way and file all sorts of claims for compensation. And when you look at how much you then have to pay for compensation and how much you have to spend on the road, you begin to do your math very carefully. So we need community support as well. People who want infrastructure must also reasonably be willing to sacrifice. The amount we are facing now in claims for compensation for Second Niger Bridge is already in excess of 10 billion naira. Just compensation for land and all of that. It's a lot of money.
Minister of Works and Housing reaffirms government's position to ensure the completion of road projects by increasing budget size. And in line with this promise, the Federal Executive Council has approved 4 other memos for the completion of Oba Onewi Okigwe Road, the 67-kilometer Alesi Ugebi Road in Cross River State, the Chachangi Bridge in Taraba, and major repair works on the Katsina-Ala Bridge.
The Ministry of Works and Housing presented 4 memoranda today. 2 of them were for approvals to revise estimates of costs so that the contractors can continue work. So the first that falls in that category of revision of estimates is the Obanewi Okigwe Road. So Council approved a revision of 519 million to cater for the change in cost of materials and all of that since the project was awarded, I think, in 2009, so that the contractor can finish. So the contract sum has been revised from 3.7 to 4.3 billion, with some fractions on it. The second one that also has a revision of estimates is the ongoing contract on the Alesi Ugep Road in Cross Rivers, 67 kilometers. So Council approved a revision of the contract sum from 9.16 billion to 11.22 billion.
Major renovations are also expected to take place in many of the stadiums across the country as part of efforts to revamp the sports sector. This would also include a public-private partnership for the maintenance of sporting facilities to equip Nigerian athletes ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
Of course, what runs through all of them is that we have seen a bit of neglect in terms of facility maintenance and management, and we intend to reverse that. We intend to seek for necessary funding to upgrade these facilities. We want to also bring about a new culture of maintenance and management. I think critically, apart from every other thing, is a function of funds availability. These are big stadia. You need about 1.2 billion on the average every year to maintain them all year round. We don't have that kind of budget. But let me also say that we're trying to explore public-private partnership when it comes to, taking care of these stadia, in terms of either concession, particularly concession. That is the way to go. First, all the stadia in this country do not belong to the government. So when we talk about the ones that have gone into complete disrepair, we're talking about Abuja, Kaduna, Lagos, and then the one in the east, Nnamdi Azikiwe. And I think it's not also true. The condition you find in each of the stadiums is not as deplorable as it's been made to sound. I've been to the Abuja, the Moshood Abiola Stadium. I've been there twice. I've seen in the last 6 or 7 months, there have been improvements. For instance, the indoor sports hall is now fully functional. They recently held an African cycling championship there last month.
Meanwhile, a presidential reception is being organized to honor the Nigerian contingent in the last All-African Games in Morocco, as well as the basketball teams. Nigeria came second on the medals table in Morocco with a total of 127 medals, while the basketball teams won the Afro Basketball Tournament and secured a place to compete at the 2020 Olympics. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Ayobami Kwashe reporting for Core TV News.